Omry Makgoale, ANC veteran and commentator. He has written a thought-piece article around the motion of no confidence against the president. Thank you very much, sir, for availing yourself this afternoon. So you look at a number of scenarios when it comes to this, and you ask a question of whether this is a waste of time. You perceive that ANC MPs, let alone cabinet ministers, will not vote against their livelihoods.
Yes. I think, Dudu and the listeners, thank you. That is the important part. Because of our current parliamentary electoral laws, there is no way ANC members of parliament and cabinet ministers will vote against this motion, against their president, because it means losing a job for them, losing livelihood for their families. And I think there's nobody who will vote himself out of a job. I don't think there's anybody who would do that and vote himself so that he can go and live in hunger. So the parliamentary electoral laws are such that if you vote against the president, you will be removed from parliament, you will be removed from your job by the party headquarters, according to the current parliamentary laws. So I think it's a waste of time. That's according to me, but of course I understand that these parties might be thinking that they want to awake the population in South Africa to the disastrous performance of the current cabinet, of course. As you see, rail infrastructure is destroyed, PRASA is not functioning properly, Dinel, the salaries are not paid, ESCOM continues with load shedding. So basically, in the true sense, it would have been good to put a motion of no confidence in this government. But in our case in South Africa, we are better off today than we were 10 years ago when the Guptas and the Watsons were actually in charge of running the state, with their deployee, former President Zuma, running the show, So we're better off. So I think it's a waste of time, but I understand, maybe ATM wanted to awaken the population, That's what I think.
To that point, you say under normal conditions in a democratic country, a government like this would lose a motion of no confidence. You further say we need more democracy, not fake democracy. You suggest this could very well happen under electoral reform?
Yes, I think the current electoral laws are fundamentally flawed, in terms of when you look at what the whites had under apartheid. The whites had the right to elect their members of parliament under apartheid. For whatever reason, weird reason, some ANC leaders thought that what was good for the whites under apartheid is not good for us blacks. I say weird reason because I don't understand that logic. So basically, we don't have the rights the whites had under apartheid, me and you. And this is why you can't elect a member of parliament where you live to do. And I also can't do that. But it's because of the flaws in these parliamentary electoral laws. And this is why we want them reformed, we want them changed. And we were hoping that after Judge Mhlanga's ruling, things will be done to change these laws. But at the moment, the ANC members of parliament and cabinet have put in another, a fake reform, which is not going to help us in any way.
In terms of the comparisons you make to the then administration and now, I just wonder, how do you see it working where it benefits you and I, as you keep pointing out? And you mentioned that the ATM is doing this for a reawakening for everyday South Africans. And I guess lastly, what is your call to South Africans?
Yeah, basically I'm saying that we must campaign to reform these parliamentary electoral laws that deny us the right to directly elect our members of parliament. We should not be given members of parliament by party headquarters anywhere. Never mind how sacred that party headquarters can be. But in our case, of course, we know that the party headquarters, the Chuli House, was captured by the Guptas and Watson. And so basically when you wait for headquarters to give you members of parliament, you are literally waiting for the Guptas or the Watsons to decide who should be a member of parliament. And this is why I think we should reform these parliamentary laws, so that we elect our members of parliament directly. We don't have to get members of parliament from any party headquarters. We should not.
And finally, your call to South Africans. You make a resounding call in the end of your article. You say the time to act is now.
Yes, I believe that we must campaign because you see the laws that the reforms that the Ministerial Advisory Committee under Valimosa has been presiding over. They presented to cabinet, I think, a law that is not going to address our concerns. You know, we're not going to elect our members of parliament directly as we want to. So I think that the South African people must wake up and demand that they should have the right to elect their members of parliament. And as I say, as a minimum, the same way as the whites had under apartheid. The whites had the right to elect their members of parliament under apartheid. But today we, as blacks, we don't have that right. We still don't have that right. What were we fighting for if we don't even have the minimum rights the whites had under apartheid? So I'm saying to the public of South Africa, let's campaign. Let's campaign and change these laws that are, you know, empowering crooks at the expense of the nation. We have to change them.
Ndade Omry Makgoale, ANC veteran and commentator, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon.